This is how Spain ruined FIFA's plan to steal the World Cup by Daily Dose of Football. Subscribe and like the Daily Dose of Football. Let's see.
So listen to this. What we have seen at this World Cup is unprecedented. Not the scandals, we have certainly seen plenty of those, but the reaction from the fans. We went into a final where it generally felt like the whole world wanted to see Argentina fail. And not only did everyone get what they wished for, they had it delivered to them in the most poetic way imaginable. A public beatdown that not only proved Argentina had no right to be in a World Cup final, but was so humiliating that the Argentinians simply could not stop themselves from showing their true colors. Only 5 seconds after the final whistle was heard, without any provocation, Nahuel Molina punched Rodri. And even worse, after Rodri looked back seemingly more confused than anything else.
I'm pretty sure you're not gonna punch him like this for no reason.
Molina squared up to him no matter what, to which his teammates, instead of trying to calm things down, proceeded to further disgrace themselves with Paredes coming and flying, pushing Eric Garcia by the throat, kicking him onto the ground, and then punching him the second he got back up, sparking up an actual brawl as he dragged Gavi around like a ragdoll.
Yeah, that is disgusting. In terms of football.
Yet, even after all of that, not only did
It shouldn't be happening.
Otamendi still get in Rodri's face, complaining that the Spanish had influenced the referees against them, but as the time to lift the trophy arrived, the whole Argentinian squad turned their backs in protest. However,
In protest? No. They turned their faces to the Argentinian fans.
I must say, I do understand the Argentinians. They just wanted to see the rules be applied consistently. After all, why would Enzo Fernandez get sent off now, when he and his teammates have gotten away with fouls like that the entire tournament? And I mean, the entire tournament. First match against Algeria, Messi steps on the calf of Aissa Mandi, studs first from behind, no contact with the ball.
Yeah, it's not the same. Enzo deserved the red card. This barely yellow.
More often than not, it would be a straight red, yet there's nothing, not even a VAR check. The match moves on, Messi scores all 3 in a 3-0 win. Next game against Austria, there's a clear foul from McAllister in the build-up to the opening goal.
It wasn't a clear foul. He played the ball. Watch the angles. That's not true. That was not a clear foul. I thought it was, but it wasn't.
Not the most egregious infraction, but no VAR check despite clear requests, which...
Yeah, there was a VAR check. Yeah, we waited for that goal.
Would become especially interesting later in the tournament. For the dead rubber against Jordan, there's some controversy about a possible handball by Lo Celso, but who cares? We got bigger fish to fry. So, in the run...
Yeah, that's a handball.
Of 32 versus Cape Verde, no major outstanding controversies, but constant bias towards Argentina. By extra time, Enzo could literally throw himself on the floor with no one remotely close, and a foul would be given. I guess sometimes it's easier to steer a game in
I did not see that. Huh? What is that?
Argentina. By extra time, Enzo could literally throw himself on the floor with no one remotely close, and a foul would be given.
Huh, I missed that. That's a dive. I don't get it.
I guess sometimes it's easier to steer a game inch by inch than to make one blatant wrong decision. However, that did not stop them against Egypt. Remember when I said the VAR refused to go back to cancel Argentina's goal against Austria? Well, VAR was willing to rewind the tape all the way back to a play on the other side of the pitch to cancel Egypt's goal. Now, the first mistake here is that the VAR can only go back to the last moment in which Argentina was in position to defend its goal, meaning when Tagliafico got dribbled by Hassan. As The Athletic wrote, Argentina's collective failure to defend their goal because they allowed Zico to run past them is not part of the decision-making process. And the second mistake is that once Argentina magically came back from...
I'm pretty sure referees reviewed that on social media, and other people that actually are footballers said that it was fairly disallowed. Yes, it's harsh, but that's the rule. That's the rule. The ball did not go out of play.
Being 2-0 behind at the 79th minute, the winning goal came straight after a touch from Mo Salah, this one inside the penalty box. And even then, the
Even Mo Salah didn't think that was a penalty.
referee refused to check VAR, going as far as sending off the Egyptian staff for protesting. I think Mo Salah's face says it all. I'll admit that I do think this call specifically could have gone either way, but...
That's not a penalty, bro. What is wrong with you? Neither what McAllister did to, I think, Zico.
The difference in treatment is just glaringly obvious. After all, the referees certainly never had any issues with the Argentinians screaming in their faces. And yet, they weren't done. In the quarters, just as it started to seem like Switzerland might score another and take the win, suddenly...
Oh my god, are we gonna go there? Because even not Messi fans agreed that was a red card.
VAR gets called for what seemed like your average foul in the middle of the pitch. Then they claim it is being called for a case of mistaken identity, something normally only used when the referee shows a card to the wrong teammate by mistake. Yet, despite it clearly not being the case, once the replays do show up, everyone can see it. Paredes should definitely not have gotten a yellow. Embolo had dived. And Embolo already had a yellow card, so Embolo got sent off.
So harsh, but it was fair.
But was this done by the book? Yeah, technically. But were they stretching the limits of the rules in such a bizarre and desperate manner that it is hard to believe it wasn't done with the intention of helping Argentina? Also yes.
No, they just need to either make the rule bigger or just add one more rule.
Regardless, by then, with the word rigged trending globally against England in the semis, Enzo settled for the casual punch to the back of the head, which is illegal in the UFC, but
yeah, that was done after there was a foul on Leo, basically a sandwich, and the ref did not call it. It's wrong by Enzo.
Apparently not even a yellow for Argentina, even if Enzo keeps on committing foul after foul. So much so that he got scored the equalizer himself, right before Lautaro completed a comeback off of a cross Messi put in, right after stepping on Jed's pen.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, obviously I don't think every single one of these had to 100% be called.
That's like saying Elliot Anderson deserved a red card for a tackle that was not a red card even though the ball was high. Like, not ankle, what's the word? Knee high. Yeah. Still, bro, you're embarrassing yourself in this video. The thing that was correct was the brawl after the final, which should have not happened, and Paredes was wrong, and Molina too.
Against Argentina, but if you're focusing on any specific incident, you're missing the big picture.
You are focusing on specific incidents and you made big mistakes in these close calls.
There are dozens of other small calls that could be brought up. There are literal 1 hour...
Bro, bring the calls against Argentina too, because I got files. Take a look. I don't want to pull more.
Long compilations of mistakes made in favor of Argentina floating around social media, but even that buzz doesn't really matter. The thing is, if you look at the data, it's obvious. Take all the quarterfinalists and calculate how often VAR would be called in their favor, and Argentina not only leads, they're almost 3 times more likely to get a call in their favor than the average. And when it comes to calls against them, well, unlike every other nation, there simply weren't any, even though they committed the most fouls out of any team in the tournament. tournament. Add to that the fact that once again they got the most penalties in their favor out of any team, making
Yeah, tell me that these was not penalties.
it 8 in just 2 World Cups when the likes of Brazil have only had 13 in their history across 23 tournaments. Plus the incredibly advantageous draw that not only saw them reach the semi-finals without playing a single nation ranked in the top 20 by FIFA.
So it's Argentina's fault. Uruguay had a stinker. Colombia didn't beat Switzerland. And Portugal flopped. Okay.
But also playing every single match up till the final, either at night or in a covered stadium, never really having to deal with the heat like everyone else, and on top of it all, barely having to travel between stadiums during the group stage, eventually making it to the final having traveled only about half the distance Spain had. Yeah. Obviously, to instantly cry out that there is a conspiracy is a bit reductive. Referees have always had a tendency to favor the biggest teams in the world, and there is no bigger team than the world champions. Not to mention that no one wants to make the decision that sends Lionel Messi out of possibly his last ever tournament. However, it's hard not to feel like FIFA brought this heat upon themselves when they literally reverted the red card suspension at the request of Donald Trump, which...
This is bigger than anything Argentina did in the whole tournament. Because we didn't do much. Yes, there were some fouls that went a little over the line, but they were not worth red cards, or they were after the final. And yeah, players will be suspended.
Similarly goes for the Argentinian Federation, who just happened to be under investigation from the FBI while all of this happened.
What? No, that's not true.
Literally being exposed by one of the most notorious investigative journalists in the world for their involvement in a money laundering scheme. They just so happened to be running from within the United States.
What does that have to do with football, if that's true?
I mean, none of the parties involved have been doing themselves any favors, and to make matters worse, of course, once they got to the final, they ran into a team that perfectly symbolizes everything that is wrong with them. You see, people tend to forget it, but Spain wasn't always the refined tiki-taka machine we know now. There's a reason they're known as La Furia Roja. Many years ago, Spain was seen as a team that relied more on aggression than technique, with their players frequently being labeled as dirty. In fact, back in 2004, the legendary Cesar Luis Menotti, who led Argentina to their first ever World Cup, infamously claimed that Spain will only win once they decide whether they want to be the bull or the bullfighter.
I'm an Argentina fan. I'm a Messi fan. I wanna end the video right here. I don't care what anyone says, if anyone watches the video, because this video is one of the worst videos I've seen. The only thing right was the brawl that Argentina caused after the final, and it made us look like sore losers. And this also inflated the terrible images thrown at Lionel Messi today. Because some people decided, Argentinians, to not hold their nerve when you're already world champions and 2 times in a row Copa America champions and 4 times in a row winning some trophies. This video, I hold my words. I think I said enough.